Hello everyone, our today's video lesson is about analysis in data. So let's start. First of all, we will summarize our data by command. Let's first of all install Asadbek so we can get our analysis in doc format. For this command, as I said, you have to have internet connection. Then let's start. Asadbek sum. Here we are provided with data about our with information about our data. For example, a number of observation in years 63 years. Here arithmetic mean, standard deviation, how far other indicators are from standard from arithmetic mean. It's okay when they are closer to zero. Minimum ratios and maximum ratios of our variables. Then our next comment, two-way CS line and one variable except years. Here we can see overall picture, overall behavior of trade over years. This command can be applied to any variable, as I said, except years. Two-way. Next command will be two-way scatter and two variables. First will be dependent and second independent. For example, let's say I took computer communication as dependent and ICT as independent. Here you should write lfit. So as you see, it gives us information about if the relation between them is positive or negative, or there is no relationship. Here we can see that we can say that there is small relationship between them. There is small positive relationship. Um, our next comment is histogram. Histogram, any variable, and key density none. Some mistake occurred, sorry. Histogram, key density. Oh. So histogram provides us information with if our data is normally distributed. If these graphs, these charts draw us bell shape, it means that it's okay. But in our case, it's far kind of worse because as you see, there is huge problem here. We can say that Saudi Arabia witnessed some problems with agriculture, so that's why there is problem. By the way, uh, every graph can be copied here and pasted to your Word file, which I've already done in my Imrat file here, as you can see. So, next comment. Our next comment will be graph box. So let's take GDP. So, graph box. This rectangular provides us with 75% of information of our variable, namely GDP. Here 75%, and this means arithmetic mean, median, and two lines are called outliers. It's maximum value and minimum value of GDP throughout years. So now we can see Pearson pairwise correlation test. Here we can see the relation between variables. Then star. So as you see, trade and trade, it's single-wise correlation. Communication and trade is pairwise correlation. As you see, p-value is lower than 0.05. It means that there is a relationship between them. For example, it affects trade. Communication and computers affect trade negatively when it how to say it, when it increases by 1 unit, the trade decreases by 1.32 kind of percent. So here is problem. For example, we can say that it affects trade, but our p-value is more than 0.05, so we can say they are dependent on each other. So our next comment, regression. In this comment, our first chosen variable will be dependent, while others are independent. I took trade as dependent variable. So here we are provided with ANOVA table, analysis of variances, model parameters, and model estimations. So model parameters. Let's say here f4 and 13. You may say why 4? Because we have 4 independent variables: communication, agriculture, ICT, and GDP, and remaining 30. We have 18 observations, so 4 uh, variables and 13 remaining years. In sum, it will be 17, and first year is taken as comparison to others. And as you see, p-value is lower than 0.05. R squared shows us by how much this variable explains this variable. Uh, in this case, we can see that, for example, communication computer explains trade for 93%. Adjusted R squared is almost the same, but it's used when the number of observations are less than 31. So here we can see model estimations, t-test. Uh, for example, so as I said, it's called t-test, in other words, student test. Here p-values are less than 0.05, which means that there is relationship between trade and communication, trade and agriculture, trade and ICT service. They are dependent on each other. So it means that we can reject HO hypothesis now, which states that variables are independent. Then accept HA hypothesis. Then moving to next comment, next test, it will be a Swilk test. A Swilk. Let's start. So a Swilk. Here, since the p-value is less than 0.05, we can reject the null hypothesis of the test, H0 hypothesis in other words, and we have sufficient evidence to say that the variable displacement is not normally distributed. So then next comment, alpha. Alpha checks us the reliability of our data. Then after that we can predict y hat xp. As you see here, y hat appeared. Y hat shows us, for example, in regression, what we take as dependent variable, y hat shows us mistakes. For example, we took trade as independent variable, as as dependent variable. I'm sorry. For example, base it on other variables. For example, when communication is like this and agriculture is like this, the trade will should be like this. For here we can see there is slight mistake for 1 unit. Here also 1 unit. We can see that there is no kind of big problem, but anyways there is problem, but not big. So y hat shows us and tells us how it should have been. For example, our dependent variable, the indicators of our dependent variable, how it should be based on other variables. Then, so after that, command is that head test. Head test means heteroscedasticity test. Is that head test and our dependent variable. So heteroscedasticity test means that the variance of the errors is not constant across observations. In particular, the variance of the errors may be a function of explanatory variables. Then let's check multicollinearity effect of our data. Is that VIF. Multicollinearity effect, multicollinearity test helps us to test, for example, variables, uh, whether variables explain each other or not. For example, here, if here instead of GDP will be, let's say, algebra, then geometry, so there will be problem because they all uh, belong to math. They all will be shown in section called math. So this command checks us the multicollinearity of our data. And when it's more than 10, there is problem. But in our case, it's as you can see, it's okay. Then, uh, then in this comment, our analysis in data are over. Then let's start Mendeley. No, let's start with let's see it. So where it is. First of all, we open our PP2 uh, PowerPoint presentation. Then, so we opened our presentation. Here you can see literature review. Literature review is was done with help of let's say AI. So let's start. For example, we search for. I've already done that. So let me show in my case. So we just copy it and search here. Here we can add columns by which we want to have observation, for example, main findings, outcomes measured, and any we can add any column and any criteria that you want. I've already done that. So as you see, we have a lot of articles. We just copy them and paste to our presentation. I've already done that. And after pasting it, we just open uh, open the articles that we've taken. Let me show you one more time. So for example, I took that one. Let's open this to give reference, and after that we press the semantics color. Here we can cite. For example, let's click cite. Then we have to take it in APA style. We just, as you see, we just copy it and take to our presentation. And in section called references, we paste it. I've already done that. So let's say it is done. Then let's start Science Direct. Here you should sign in with your email. As you see, I've already done that, Asadbek Rismatov. Here you search any article, for example, Saudi Arabia, let's say our dependent variable, trade, and let's take agriculture. No, let's take GDP. But I've already done that. I'm just showing you method. So here you download any article that you want. First of all, I'm sorry. You should click here, open access in order to get uh, in PDF style. View PDF. Here you download it any in any folder you want. As you see, I've already downloaded it. Trade and GDP, trade and ICT service. Then you open it in Mendeley software. So here you see the article that I've taken. Here you read and take some parts from, let's say, introduction. Let's take, for example, let's take this one. We just copy it, go to our Word file and paste it in section called literature review. Here, I've already done that. Then after pasting, for example, we go to section Silky and insert citation. Go to Mendeley, open that one and cite. As you see, here's citation. Then after finishing this job, you go to section called references in order to give references. Here you just choose insert bibliography. So here it is. As you see, I've already done it. So let's delete them. Let's delete them. Then our next step is let me show you how to get our seed code or org ID. You just go to website called orcid org. You open it, you sign in with email, and just take your with your email. I've already done it, and I've taken my ORCID code. Here you sign in and take your ORCID code and paste here. And what about gel code? In order to take gel code, you go to website called GL classification. GL classification. So here you choose any section that you want, for example, international economics, then any code. Let's say trade. Here it's F16, F18. So from a website called this one, American Economic Association, you take your GL code. So here our today's video lesson is over. Thank you for your attention.